Today I'm going to be ranking every single Valorant agent ability in the game. Let's get into it. We'll start with Brimstone. So this is our first agent, and we got the Stim Beacon. Stim Beacon, I'm going to say, this is a good barometer early on. Stim Beacon might even be D, honestly. I'm going to put it in C for now. Okay, the Incendiary, the Brim Molly. The Brim Molly is better than most. A decent Molly in the game. You only get one, which I am going to factor in as well, right? That it's not just the use of it. If you have two of them, that is better than having one. Incendiary, I'm going to put in the B tier, I think. Skye Smoke, I think, see, this is an interesting debate, right? Like, where do you put just the normal smokes? Because smokes are good. Smokes are useful. You need smokes. It's kind of a weird one. I'm going to put it in B tier, I guess. Okay, the Brimstone ult, I think is a good ult. We are going to consider how many ult points it costs. That will be included, but I still think the Brimstone ult is pretty good. You know, you can combo it with things pretty well. It often will get kills. Okay, Viper up next. Snake bites, I think, are really good. You get two of them. They give you vulnerable. I think that snake bites are probably S tier because you get two of them. The Poison Cloud. This one, I have a bit of debate on whether to use A or S. I think I'm going to put it in A tier. I still think it's very good, but I am going to put it at maybe like the top of A tier instead. The Viper Wall, though, that's going to the top. And this won't be dethroned, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that I'm thinking that this is probably the strongest ability in the entire game. Just because of how big it is, how much of the map it covers, the fact that it decays you, the fact that it can go up and down all the time. Like, I just think that this is an insane ability. The Viper's Pit is an interesting one, though, because now that this costs 9, I think I might put it in the B tier because it costs 9 ult points. Okay, Omen, Shrouded Step. It's not bad. It can get you out of some situations. You can reposition on defense side. It's okay. I'll put it at the bottom of B tier, but I could hear an argument for C tier as well. Paranoia, you know, this probably before was going to go, you know, pretty high, but now with the change and it moving quite slowly, I still think it's decent. I still think it's an A tier ability. Dark Cover, again, I'm just going to probably put the smokes next to each other. Is the Dark Cover better than the Skye Smoke? Actually, yeah, that's kind of a point. It does recharge. So the recharge ability probably actually puts it in A tier, right? Probably. And then From the Shadows has to be a D tier. Killjoy. Killjoy's pretty good. Nano Swarms, I think, are pretty good. I'm actually surprised that they didn't nerf the damage on the Nano Swarms, like, more. I think they're right there with the Snakebite, to be fair. They don't give you vulnerable, which I do think that vulnerable is, like, a big, like, problem. But they do a lot of damage. Maybe it's high A tier, though. Vulnerable is a very strong keyword. Let's go with A. The Alarm Bot is fine. I would say the Alarm Bot is maybe an A tier ability as well. But yeah, then again, no, B tier. It's fine. Timmy is the second best ability in the game. Just after the Viper Wall. These two will be staying at the top. I'm pretty sure of it because Timmy is very, very strong and definitely needs nerfing if they ever want to fix Killjoy. But that's where Timmy will go. And the Lockdown, now that it costs 9, and they do cost 9 now, but it is still good. I'm going to put Lockdown in A. That might be a bit of a hot take. On certain maps where you're going to see a lot of Raze, the Lockdown isn't that great, but it's still good. Okay, Cypher. Is a Cypher trip. You do get 2 of them, though. I guess you have to take that into account. So I guess it is slightly better than Alarm Bot. But you can see them, but they can be... go on, then. I'll put it low A. Cypher Cage is... yeah. That's a C, I think. I think we're going to move some of these things down. In fact, the Shrouded Step, yeah. Down you come. You're a C. I'm decided. This is a C. Spycam is okay, but not amazing, I don't think. Go on, I'll put it in low B. I'll give it to you for now. Everyone likes Cypher, so I'll give it to you. Okay, Neural Theft. This is where my hot take might come in. I think in Neural Theft, underrated. I know a lot of you are going to say C, or like, you know, D even maybe. I think the Cypher ult wins rounds sometimes, and it only costs 6. So I'm going to put it in. I know you have to get a kill, which does make it, you know, a bit of a thing sometimes, but I'm going to put it in B tier. Okay, Owl Drone. This used to maybe be the best ability in the game. It no longer is. It probably is like a B tier ability now, to be honest. I mean, a drone is still pretty good. It's not as good as a Skydog, which will be going in S, but that drone is a good ability. Shock Darts, however, not so great. That Shock Dart is like your classic C. The Sova Dart obviously is worse than it used to be as well, but the Sova Dart is A. And Hunter's Fury is like fine. It's like a B tier. Okay, Sage, we can get into this. Barrier Orb. I'm going to put the Wall in mid A tier. The Wall is good. The slows are okay. They're like a low B tier, I would say. The Heal is a D. And the res, the ult I think is C, because on defense side, it's just not that good. Phoenix Blaze, I think again, I've got to put the Blaze in D. The flashes, however, I think go in S. I think these are the best flashes in the game. And if you're ever playing Phoenix, you're playing in for the flash and the ult and not really much else. And so the hot hands, is the hot hands better than the wall? Not by a lot. You know what, I'm going to put the hot hands in D as well. F it. They both go in D. But the run it back also goes in S. And this is the Phoenix problem for me, right? 2 S tier abilities, 2 D tier abilities. Okay, Jett. Oh, it's got the Jett passive on here? Does it matter that much? Like, how often does that actually come up in the game? That's going at the bottom. Cloudburst obviously got quite a bit worse, but it's still very good for how you play it. It's like low A tier. I'm going to put it in low A tier. Updraft is, especially with only 1, not that useful. That's a D tier. Tailwind, is that still S tier? Yeah. Yeah, probably. Probably still S tier. And the Blade Storm, I mean, now it costs 8. It's just a weapon. It's not as good as even a chamber ult, I would say. Is the Jett ult like a... People always go on about these eco ults or whatever, and it always drives me crazy, because it's like, in most rounds, you're going to have a gun anyway. And the economy, to me, is like, well, the Stinger is good anyway. Like, when people say, oh, it's so good because it's good for your eco, it's like, yeah, but does the economy matter that much when, like, guns like the Bulldog are pretty good? Guns like the Stinger, the Judge. The Judge is, like, OP. The Bulldog is good. The Stinger is good. Like, how important really are eco abilities in general? Okay, the Reyna Lear. It's like a C, I guess. The Devour. I mean, again, like high level play, healing. I think most healing abilities are going to come down here. The Dismiss. I mean, this is why you play Reyna, right? The Dismiss is good. The Dismiss is like A tier. Empress, pretty useless. And again, I'm kind of doing this for high level. I understand that like at lower levels, you know, some of that would go up. But, you know, what do you want me to do? Okay, Boombot. I'd say the Boombot now is probably like a B tier. It used to be like maybe even S tier, you know, when it lasted like 10 seconds. Blast packs are pretty good. I'll put them in A. I'll put them like near the top-ish of A. Raze Nade, I think has to be S, right? The Nade is just good. And the show... Oh, this is an interesting debate. Where does a showstopper go? With how many roses you see in the game? I still think it's... a lot of you are saying B. I personally might still put it in the low part of A. Aftershock. Hey, Aftershock's pretty good. That's like a mid A tier ability. That's a good breach ability. Now here we go again, right? Again, where we'll talk about versus high versus low tier, because the flash, again, people who watch this channel a lot know what I think about this breach flash. Breach flash at high tiers of the game, it doesn't do anything. So at the highest levels of the game, this flash isn't great. At lower levels of the game, this flash is pretty good. Again, I'm going to be ranking this off the highest levels of the game, so I'm going to put it in C tier. Fault line. Again, we've seen many people get kills while stunned. Full line, I still think is fine. I think it's like a B tier level ability. Like, it's fine. And the breach ult, costing 9 is quite a lot. And I'd say that, like, you know, versus the, like, here's how I'd rank it, right? I think it's better than a Viper's Pit that costs 9, but worse than a Lockdown that costs 9. So it's probably, like, either high B or low A tier. Let's put it, like, low A tier for now. Yeah, so Skye, this first one's going to be maybe a bit of a hot take. Once you hear my reasoning, I don't think it's that hard of a take. The regrowth is a D tier ability, okay? Here's the reason why. Because I know a lot of people would have this in like B tier or something like that. Let me tell you why. I mean, it's obviously better than like the other healing abilities. How often do you use this ability on the defensive side? Maybe once? Like, that's not a good ability. That's the point. Like, this is like the Sage ult. Yeah, it's fine on attack. But for defense side, you're just never using it. Trailblazer, though, is S tier. Guiding Light is probably S tier as well. This is why Skye is good. And the Seekers, now that they cost 8... I don't think it's great, to be honest. I think it's fine. I'm going to put it next to the Hunter's Fury. Okay, Fake Out. Yoru. Oh, it's definitely like low C, high D tier. You know what? Let's put it one above the Lear. Although I kind of want to put the Lear in the D tier. So maybe I'll put you in the D tier. The Blind Side is like a decent flash. I think, yeah, it's like a B tier flash. The Gate Crash. Oh, the Gate Crash. Gate Crash I'm going to put in C. And the Dimensional Drift, I think is a pretty good ult. Especially like in coordinated play. But even not, I think you can do some interesting things with it. I'm going to put the ult in A tier. Okay, Astra, Stars. So I think this just means like the recall ability on Stars. And the recall ability on Stars getting you a little smoke. It's free. All it costs you is time, which is a resource that, you know, in most rounds you have quite a bit of. So yeah, I'm going to put it in A tier. just because it's free. Gravwell. This is an interesting one because obviously Gravwell again would have been like S tier back in the day, but now that it like has that delay, I'm not sure it is S tier anymore because it's just not that useful on defense side. I think I am going to go B. And the Nova Pulse I still feel is not as good. You know what? The C tier is a little lacking, so let's put it at the top of there. This is just the Astra Smoke, which again is fine. I'm going to just put that probably just below the Brim Smoke. Cosmic Divide, I think it's a solid B tier roll. Okay, KO Fragment. The KO Fragment, I think, is like the most stereotypical B tier ability in the game. The Flashes, on the other hand, are probably slightly better. They're probably like a decent A tier ability. The 0 Point, I think, as well, is probably like around an A tier ability, just for the information. Maybe we'll put them right next to each other. The Suppress is good as well. And the Ult as well, I think I'll put in A. Okay, Chamber. The Chamber trademark, I mean, you only get one of them. It's loud, it's noisy, you can smoke it off. This is like a C tier ability. The Headhunter, here we go again, right? I said that this was going to be a thing. Like, eco abilities, I don't think are any good. I know this has been a big disagreement between me and a lot of other people, but again, how often do you actually use this ability? Not a ton. Like, yes, you will use it in some rounds and some eco rounds, but if you're playing the economy correctly, you shouldn't need to have that many eco rounds. Because guess what? If you're doing light shields, then you shouldn't be ecoing that much, particularly on the attack side. Is Chamber's one good ability, so that will be going up there. I could honestly, is this still an S tier ability, the Rendezvous? Probably. Probably low S. You know, it used to be like very best. Now it's probably like low S. And the Tour de Force... Again, I've said this about the Jett ult as well. Like, I'm not a massive fan of eco ults. I do think that this one is better than the Jett ult, to be honest, because it's just easier to get kills with, I think, the Tour de Force. So I'll put it in the B tier. Neon Fast Lane. It's okay. It's like, I think it's like low B tier. It's fine. The Relay Bolts as well. The Relay Bolts, I think, are a bit mid. The High Gear, which I'm guessing is just the running and the sliding. Oh, man. High Gear. Go on. No, I'm putting it in C. I'm not a massive Neon fan, to be honest. The Overdrive is actually pretty good, though. Even at high levels of the game, when they made that change, the Overdrive is like an A tier roll. Fade. So Prowlers. But having 2 Prowlers, I think, is probably on the level of 1 drone. They're still good. Seize. Seize is like, again, like a classic like B tier ability. Fade Haunt is probably a bit worse than the Recon Dart. So where have I put the Recon Dart? In A? It's like low A. I'm going to put it at the bottom of A. And the Nightfall for an 8 cost ult is probably... in my opinion, like a B tier ult again. Now, I like Harbor. I think Harbor's pretty good. And I think the Cascades, they're okay. They're like a B tier ability. Again, Cascade is fine. The Cove is probably, I think, slightly worse than the Cascade. This is one where I'm debating, should it be B tier? Should it be C tier? Probably C tier. The High Tide, though, I think is an S tier ability. Is it? No. I'm going to put the High Tide at the top of A. The Reckoning... The Reckoning somehow still only costs 7. I'm not quite sure how, because it doesn't make any sense with some of the wording they've used of site-wide footprint ults need to be like 1 million cost ults. But I'm actually going to put all of Harbor's 2 main abilities just at the top of A. Okay, Mosh Pit, but I'm going to put it in C tier, I think. Wingman as well. Clearing is okay, but again, it's not amazing, like I said, with the Boombot. I did put the Boombot in B, so I guess I have to put the Wingman. I'll put it right by the Boombot. Dizzy. Again, the picking up stuff, it makes it kind of hard to judge. Should I just put it right by Wingman in the B tier? And the Thrash as well. Thrash is pretty good. Yeah, Thrash is like an A tier ability, I think. Finally, we get this. Deadlock. The Gravnet. Oh, is Gravnet C or D? It's not completely useless, but I think it's probably the top of D. The Sonic Sensor, honestly, might go to the bottom. Deadlock, you're going down there. Barrier Mesh. Where did I put the Sage Wall? In B or A? I did put the Sage Wall in A. Fine, I'll put it in C. But I want to put it down here. Just let the record show, I want to put it down here. In fact, how useful is it on attack? No, I'm not having it. It's not at the bottom. It's still a D tier ability though, because it's just hard to use correctly. The ult isn't amazing, but it is hella satisfying when you get someone with it. I'll put it in B tier because it's fun. Okay, I'm putting the ult in B tier because it's fun. And that's my list. We ended up with pretty balanced. I'm kind of glad with how this turned out. I'm sure there's parts of it that I did at the start that I would kind of reposition now, to be honest, but I'm pretty happy with this. If you disagree with anything I've said, I don't care. Okay, that's the main takeaway that you need to get from this. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, though. Still, I probably won't read them because it's bad for my mental. But thank you for watching and have a nice day.